Ilara Voss had always been drawn to the edges of known space. While most pilots preferred safe routes between trading hubs and mining stations, she thrived in the silent, dangerous voids where stars were few and danger was many. Today she drifted in the asteroid belt of Nix 12, a forgotten region that even the Galactic Council rarely charted. Her small ship, the Aurora Hawk, maneuvered through floating rocks the size of small cities, its sensors scanning for salvageable debris. The belt was quiet. Too quiet. For weeks, rumors had whispered of a massive alien starship lost here, a relic from a civilization that disappeared over 100,000 years ago. Most dismissed it as a myth, a story for old miners to scare their apprentices. But Alara had always believed in the myths. Some part of her craved to find something the galaxy had forgotten. The sensors beeped faintly, a strange rhythm unlike any asteroid signal. Ilara leaned closer to the control panel. "That's not rock," she muttered. Her AI Nyx flickered into holographic form beside her. "Unidentified object detected," Nyx said, its calm voice almost mocking. "Size enormous. Composition unknown alloys. Probability of life 0. Suggest withdrawal." Ilara smiled. "Zero life doesn't mean zero value." She adjusted the thrusters and moved toward the object, a shadow against the scattered starlight. The closer she got, the more massive the shape became. It was not just a ship, it was a fortress, lying dormant as if waiting for someone, or something, to wake it. Its hull shimmered with an iridescent blue-gray metal, unlike anything human engineers had ever seen. Strange glyphs ran along its sides, glowing faintly as if reacting to her approach. Ilara's heart pounded. She had seen relics before, old fighters, decayed freighters, abandoned stations, but nothing like this. Nothing alive in its silence. She docked carefully, the magnetic clamps pulling the Aurora Hawk tight against a massive landing pad integrated into the alien hull. "Docking complete," Nyx said, "but sensors show a deep energy core inside. Warning, unknown power source." "Perfect," Ilara said, grabbing her helmet and stepping into the docking tube. The airlock hissed closed behind her, and the smell of ozone and cold metal filled her nose. She had imagined this moment countless times, walking inside a ship untouched for millennia, seeing technology no human had ever dreamed of. Inside, the corridors were wide and smooth, almost organic in shape. Panels glowed softly under her touch, and the glyphs seemed to shift slightly, like they were alive. Her boots echoed on the metal floor, the only sound in the endless hall. Finally, she reached the central control room, a space so vast it felt like a cathedral. At its center floated a single pedestal with a small, unmarked button glowing faintly in blue light. The ship hummed quietly, almost like it was breathing. "Ilara," Nyx said, voice tense. "Caution advised. Object appears sentient. Probability of activation consequences, unknown." She stared at the button. Something deep inside told her this was the moment she had been waiting for. Without hesitation, she pressed it. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then, a low rumble shook the ship. Lights flickered along the walls. The glyphs pulsed, spreading from floor to ceiling like veins of energy. Panels lit up, displaying stars, planets, and systems unknown to the human galaxy. A holographic map projected from the pedestal, spinning slowly, pointing toward distant regions of space that no human had ever charted. Ilara staggered back. "Nyx, what is it showing?" Nyx processed for a moment. "Unknown star systems detected. Ancient coordinates, impossible to verify. Ship power levels rising exponentially. Warning, external signals incoming." Before she could respond, the floor vibrated beneath her. A section of the hull opened silently, revealing a window to the void. The stars outside seemed different here, sharper, brighter, as if reality itself had shifted. And then she noticed movement beyond the window, faint silhouettes of massive ships approaching from the darkness. "Visitors," Ilara whispered. "No," Nyx said. "Unknown energy signatures." They are observing, possibly hostile. Alara's mind raced. She had awakened something and the galaxy had noticed. But before fear could take root, fascination took over. This ship was not just a relic, it was alive in some way, responding to her, to humans. She touched the console, running her fingers over glyphs that felt like circuits, yet soft as flesh. The ship pulsed in response, almost as if it were communicating. Hours passed as Alara explored. She discovered alien writing that described star systems, weapons, and technology, far beyond human comprehension. A navigation core projected real-time star maps of the galaxy, and distant galaxies she had only read about in theory came into view. "Nix," she said finally, her voice trembling, "this ship, it's like it's waiting for someone, maybe waiting for us." Nix's hologram flickered. "Probability of correct, low. Probability of unknown, 100%. Alara smiled. She didn't need probabilities. She felt it in her bones. Humans were meant to find this ship. And now the adventure had truly begun. Just as she turned to leave the central room, the pedestal's holographic map pulsed brighter. A single star system glowed red, drawing her attention. It was distant, uncharted, and mysterious. The ship had chosen a direction, and humans were the key to unlocking its secrets. Her communicator crackled. "Alara Voss, you are not authorized." It was a distant voice from a human faction, but the ship overpowered it. Alara laughed softly. The galaxy had underestimated humans again. She took a deep breath, looking around the vast, humming interior. Every panel, every corridor, every light seemed to say the same thing. "You are the one who woke us. Now the galaxy will remember humans." With careful steps, she returned to the Aurora Hawk, already planning her next move. She would follow the starship's path, even if it led her into unknown dangers. She didn't just feel excitement, she felt destiny. For the first time in centuries, humans were about to show the galaxy their courage, their ingenuity, and their will to survive. Alara Voss could feel the pulse of the starship beneath her feet. The hum of its engines resonated through every panel, every corridor. It was alive, not like humans, not like anything she had ever seen, but alive in a way that made her skin tingle with both fear and excitement. "Nix," she said, strapping herself into the pilot chair of the Aurora Hawk. "Let's see where it wants to go." The AI flickered, projecting the ship's new star map. Lines of light extended from the alien vessel, pointing toward a cluster of distant stars that were not in any human database. "Coordinates are outside all known charts," Nix said, its tone unusually quiet. "Unknown variables exceed safe limits by 432%. Suggest caution." Alara laughed, leaning back in her seat. "Safe is boring, Nix, and boring doesn't get remembered in history books." The alien starship moved slowly at first, drifting with an elegance that made human ships seem crude and clumsy. Yet, when Alara activated the thrusters of the Aurora Hawk, the starship adjusted instantly, aligning with her smaller craft as if acknowledging her presence. Humans were not just passengers, they were partners, or perhaps the ship had recognized something unique in them. As they approached the uncharted system, strange readings began to appear on the sensors. Massive energy spikes pulsed in rhythmic patterns. Alara frowned. "What are those?" "They are not natural," Nix replied. "Unknown structures detected, possibly automated defenses. Caution required." The first structure appeared as they passed the outer rim of the system, a colossal ring of metal floating in space like a sentinel. Its surface was etched with patterns similar to the ones on the alien starship. Yet, unlike the dormant ship, this structure was active. It projected beams of energy in silent, hypnotic patterns, scanning the void. Alara's eyes widened. "It's alive too." Nix ran calculations faster than any human mind could comprehend. Probability of hostile intent, high. Probability of survival without engagement, low. Alara grinned. "Then let's make sure they know humans are here," calmly but firmly. She guided the Aurora Hawk closer, careful to keep the alien starship between them and the Sentinel. As they approached, a sudden pulse of energy knocked her ship off course. Panels flickered and alarms rang. The Sentinel was reacting to their presence. "Nix, can the ship fight?" she asked, eyes scanning the alien vessel. "Yes," Nix said after a pause, "but not in ways standard human tactics would predict. Ship systems require intuitive input. You or someone human must guide it." Alara's heart raced. Humans, small, fragile, often underestimated, were now the key to controlling an ancient supership. She adjusted her strategy, focusing on patterns rather than numbers. With a deep breath, she reached out, touching the console as she had done when she first pressed the button. The ship responded instantly. Lights flared across the walls. Energy fields projected from the hull, forming shields around them. Beams of pure light shot out, intercepting the Sentinel's scans without striking it directly. The structure pulsed, paused, and then retracted its energy beams. Alara exhaled. "It's working." Nix's voice carried a hint of admiration. Unprecedented human intuition detected. Ship systems aligned successfully. Probability of survival increasing. But there was no time to celebrate. More Sentinels emerged, rising from the darkness between stars like giants waking from a long sleep. Their numbers were small, but their size dwarfed human ships by hundreds of meters. Each one pulsed with energy, scanning, calculating, preparing. "Alara," Nix warned. "Engagement necessary. Shields will not last indefinitely." She nodded, hands steady on the controls. "Then we engage carefully." For hours, they moved through the cluster of Sentinels, dodging energy pulses, matching their movements with the alien starship. Alara realized that every maneuver she made, every choice, was amplified by the ship. It seemed to anticipate her thoughts, to mirror her instincts, to act in harmony with human intuition. No other species could have controlled it this way. During a brief lull in the chaos, Alara floated through the corridors, inspecting panels and glyphs. The alien technology was breathtaking. Light flowed like liquid through conduits, and the walls themselves seemed to pulse with life. She found a console projecting holographic records of past civilizations. Ships like hers had arrived before, many millennia ago, but none had lasted. They either failed to awaken the ship properly or were destroyed before they could understand it. Alara felt a shiver run down her spine. Humans were different. They had curiosity, intuition, and courage, the traits that allowed them to survive in impossible conditions, traits that even ancient civilizations seemed to respect. "Nix," she whispered, "look at this." The AI processed the data and translated fragments. Ship logs indicate attempts at awakening by other species. Failures, warnings against interference, all ignored. Notes: humans may possess the spark. Alara's eyes widened. The ship had been waiting, not for another alien empire, not for automated drones, but for humans. They were not merely passengers. They were destined to unlock its secrets. Suddenly, an enormous sentinel fired a concentrated pulse of energy. The alien ship reacted instantly, shielding them and projecting a counterwave that disrupted the attacker's systems. Other sentinels paused, seemingly confused by the human's control. Alara's breath caught. The galaxy was watching and humans were no longer ordinary, but the moment of awe was short-lived. A warning flashed across the ship's central console. Something massive was approaching from outside the system. "Nix," she asked. "Unknown starship detected. Massive size. Energy output exceeding even the alien vessel. Estimated arrival in 10 minutes." Alara's stomach tightened. The new arrival could be a fleet of warships, or something far worse, a force that even the alien starship could not face without human input. She gritted her teeth. This was not just survival, it was a test. "Prepare the ship," she said. "We're going to show them why humans are dangerous." As the countdown ticked, Alara and her crew worked tirelessly. Panels, shields, and holographic interfaces came alive under their hands. The alien ship responded to their decisions, to their instincts, to their courage. They were not following orders. It was as if the ship was learning from humans, adapting in ways no other species could. The first signs of the approaching force appeared as massive silhouettes against the stars. They were enormous, black against the void, with angular designs that hinted at advanced technology. Beams of energy lanced from them, but the alien ship moved with precision that only human intuition could direct. Alara guided the ship through a series of intricate maneuvers, dodging attacks while simultaneously scanning for weaknesses. She noticed that the alien ship seemed to anticipate enemy movements, but only when humans acted decisively. Hesitation caused the sentinels and attacking ships to gain an advantage. Courage and quick thinking were key. After an intense few minutes that felt like hours, the attackers paused, almost as if they had underestimated humans. Alara realized something incredible. The alien ship had chosen humanity as its partner. Without humans, it could not have defended itself. Without humans, the galaxy would have lost a weapon and a guide to secrets long forgotten. As the attackers retreated for now, Alara allowed herself a brief smile. She floated in the vast hall of the alien ship, watching the glowing glyphs pulse rhythmically. This was no longer just exploration. This was the beginning of humanity's legend in the stars. The ship's hum deepened, almost as if it approved. Alara reached out to touch a console again. A new set of coordinates glowed on the map, even further beyond the known galaxy. Nyx's hologram blinked. Alara, these coordinates lead to areas uncharted and potentially hostile. Extreme caution recommended. Alara laughed softly. Nyx, caution is boring, and humans, we don't do boring. The alien starship pulsed in response, ready to follow, ready to reveal secrets that had been lost for 100,000 years. Humans were no longer passengers. They were the key to awakening an ancient power, and the galaxy would never forget their courage. And somewhere in the distance, other civilizations noticed the rising pulse of energy from the uncharted system. They would soon learn what humans were capable of when curiosity, bravery, and instinct combined. Alara's hands rested on the controls. Her heart pounded. She had pressed a single button, and now the galaxy had changed. Humanity's journey into the unknown had only just begun. Alara Voss stared out into the void, her eyes scanning the distant silhouettes of unknown starships. The alien vessel, massive and alive beneath her hands, pulsed softly with light, as if anticipating her every move. The galaxy was no longer just a backdrop, it had become a stage, and humans were stepping into the spotlight. Nyx, she said, gripping the control panel, we need to understand their intent. They're not like the Sentinels. These ships, they're calculating, intelligent, organized. Analysis in progress, Nyx replied. Energy signatures suggest advanced technology exceeding known civilizations by thousands of years. Probability of hostility, 87%. Recommend immediate defensive measures. Alara's jaw tightened. Hostility or not, she had no intention of retreating. Humans had come too far, and they were beginning to understand the alien starship in ways no other species could. As the unknown fleet approached, the ship's systems responded in unusual ways. Shields extended, forming intricate patterns across the hull, deflecting energy pulses before they could touch the human crew. Panels on the control console lit up with glyphs that seemed to respond to thought, not touch. The alien starship had not only awakened, it was learning from them. Alara realized the key was instinct. Every movement, every choice she made, the ship adapted. Hesitation could be deadly. Courage, precision, and creativity became weapons more powerful than any cannon. Prepare for engagement, she commanded, her voice steady. We're not just surviving, we're showing them what humans can do. Nyx projected a 3D hologram of the approaching fleet. There were 6 vessels, each massive, with angular designs and weapons she had never seen. Their energy pulses glowed with a cold, mechanical precision. But the alien starship moved with fluid intelligence, weaving between attacks in ways no AI could replicate alone. Alara gritted her teeth, guiding the ship through the chaos. The alien vessel projected energy tendrils, intercepting incoming beams. At the same time, panels glowed with data, showing patterns in the enemy's movements. She realized the starship learned from her strategy, adjusting its defenses and offense based on human instinct. Hours passed in a blur. She had never been more alive. Every pulse of energy, every flicker of light felt like a test, and humans were rising to meet it. The attacking fleet, despite its advanced technology, began to hesitate. They had expected passive explorers, not humans who could think, adapt, and command an ancient weapon of unimaginable power. Alara's mind raced. She noticed a faint pattern in the enemy fleet's movement, an opening in their formation that, if exploited, could turn the tide. "Nix," she said, "I have an idea, but it's risky." "Probability of success, 43%, Nix replied cautiously. "Probability of damage, high. Recommend alternative strategy." Alara shook her head. "Humans don't do low-probability strategies without trying. Engage." She pressed a sequence of controls on the alien ship, guiding it through a maneuver no other species could have executed. The ship responded instantly, almost intuitively, as if it understood the risks and trusted her decision. Energy pulses flared, shields expanded, and beams of light shot from the hull with unerring precision. The enemy ships faltered. One vessel was disabled, its system scrambled by the alien ship's adaptive energy field. Another tried to flank them but was intercepted before it could execute its maneuver. The alien vessel and humans were moving as one, a combination of instinct, courage, and technology that no other species had ever achieved. "Alara," Nick said, almost in awe, "the ship's core, it recognizes you. Human input is enhancing its performance exponentially. It is alive because of you." Alara's chest swelled with pride. Humans had always been underestimated in the galaxy, fragile, small, and unpredictable. Yet here they were, standing at the heart of an ancient power, controlling a ship that no empire had ever mastered. The galaxy would never forget this. Suddenly, the enemy fleet began to retreat. Not destroyed, but wary, uncertain, as if they had encountered something they could not predict. Humanity had proven itself capable, not through sheer force, but through creativity, courage, and adaptability, the true human factor. Alara allowed herself a moment to breathe. "We did it," she whispered. "The galaxy, they'll remember humans now." But the victory was only partial. On the ship's holographic map, a new signal appeared, a massive energy spike far deeper in uncharted space. The alien starship pulsed in response, directing them toward it. It was a message, a call to something far greater, something even older than the Sentinels and the attacking fleet. Nix analyzed the signal. "It is a command, possibly a test or a gateway. The energy levels are immense, unknown consequences if engaged." Alara didn't hesitate. "Then we engage. That's what humans do." The ship's hum deepened, almost as if it were aware of the importance of this moment. Alara felt a surge of connection, as though the ship itself trusted her judgment. They entered the coordinates, leaving the remnants of the enemy fleet behind, moving into the heart of a system uncharted by any human or alien civilization. What they found there was breathtaking. A massive structure floated in orbit around a dim, dying star, a sphere of pure energy humming with power beyond comprehension. It was ancient, older than any record, and it radiated intelligence. The alien ship pulsed violently, recognizing something familiar in the structure, something that had been waiting for humans as well. "Alara," Nick said, voice tense, this is beyond comprehension. The structure appears sentient. Energy levels exceed all known galactic standards." Alara stared, her mind racing. Then it's a test, or a gate, or a challenge, and humans, we don't back down from challenges. As they approached, the sphere reacted, projecting holographic images of civilizations long extinct. Ships, planets, stars, all moving in patterns, showing a history the galaxy had forgotten. The alien starship began to resonate with the sphere, its energy sinking in a way that only humans could direct. Alara realized the truth. The starship had not only awakened because of humans, but it had also been waiting for humans to connect it to this ancient intelligence. No other species could have succeeded. Humans were the key. Their creativity, intuition, and courage were the spark that activated the next stage of the galaxy's secrets. But the sphere was not passive. It projected energy beams, testing the alien starship and humans. Each test was precise, almost surgical, probing weaknesses, challenging their instincts. Alara guided the ship through each test, making split-second decisions that no AI or alien pilot could replicate. With every pulse, she felt the alien starship growing stronger, adapting faster, learning from human intuition. The attacking fleet, the Sentinels, even the galaxy itself, none had anticipated this. Humans were rewriting the rules. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the sphere pulsed one last time. Its energy subsided, and a gateway of pure light opened before them, leading to uncharted realms of the universe. The alien starship resonated with joy, or perhaps approval. "Alara," Nick said softly, "you have passed the test. The ship recognizes humans as rightful partners. The gateway is open." Alara's heart raced. The galaxy had always underestimated humans. But here, in the heart of the unknown, she had proven that humans were more than survivalists, more than explorers. They were innovators, leaders, and the spark that could awaken ancient powers. "Let's go," she said, gripping the controls. "Humans lead. The galaxy will follow." As the alien starship and the Aurora Hawk moved through the gateway, Alara felt a surge of purpose. Humanity's place in the stars was no longer uncertain. They were no longer passengers. They were the key to unlocking the galaxy's deepest secrets, and the universe would never see them the same way again. And somewhere deep within the alien starship, the systems hummed, recording every choice, every instinct, every act of courage. Humans were no longer just small, fragile creatures. They were the spark the galaxy had been waiting for. Alara Voss smiled, her eyes fixed on the gateway ahead. The adventure was far from over. The challenges would only grow, but humans had a way of rising to the impossible. The galaxy would remember this moment. They would remember humans. Alara Voss felt the alien starship hum beneath her feet as it drifted through the newly opened gateway. The light of the portal stretched endlessly in every direction, revealing star systems and galaxies no human had ever imagined. For the first time in her life, she realized that humanity was no longer just a small species in the galaxy. They were now a key player, a force that even the oldest civilizations had not predicted. "Nix," she said, her voice steady but full of awe, "look at this. It's incredible. Every star, every planet, it's like the universe is waiting for us." Nix's holographic form shimmered beside her. "Analysis indicates vast resources, unknown energy sources, and civilizations previously lost to history. Human influence on this region could be significant." Alara smiled. Influence was an understatement. Humans had awakened an ancient starship, navigated through unknown dangers, and even communicated, through instinct, with technology that no other species could ever control. Humanity had proven itself more than adaptable. It was extraordinary. As they moved deeper into the unknown, the alien starship continued to guide them, revealing secrets along the way. Ancient maps displayed civilizations long extinct, star systems teeming with resources, and planets rich with potential for colonization. Every pulse of the ship, every flicker of its energy, felt alive, and in tune with humans. Ilara, Nick said after a pause, data suggests that the Starship is transmitting signals. Other civilizations across known space are detecting it. Your actions are being observed. Ilara's eyes narrowed. Observed? By who? Multiple species. Some may consider humans a threat. Others are curious. Probability of conflict increasing. Ilara's grin returned. Humans had always been underestimated. Every empire, every council, every powerful fleet had assumed humans were weak, slow, or limited. They had never faced a species that could think creatively under pressure, that could adapt instinctively, and now, that could command technology older than any galactic record. As they exited the gateway, they were met with a stunning sight. Fleets from multiple civilizations were gathering at the edge of known space, their ships drawn by the alien starship's energy signals. Some fleets were cautious, some aggressive, but all were united in curiosity. Humans had made their presence known. Ilara, Nick said, you may need to communicate or defend yourself. The galaxy is watching. Ilara's mind raced. Diplomacy had never been her strong suit, but this was not just about words. Humans had a reputation now, and it had to be backed by action. She tapped into the alien ship systems, projecting a holographic display into space. Patterns of light danced across the void, showing human ships alongside the alien vessel. Symbols of peace, of intelligence, and of caution were intertwined with subtle displays of power. The observers paused. They could see humans were not reckless, but they could also feel the potential for immense strength. The alien starship had not only protected them, it had enhanced their reputation in ways no one else could. Suddenly, a fleet leader from a nearby alien empire sent a signal, challenging the humans. It was aggressive but curious, seeking understanding of what had occurred. Ilara floated to the center console and spoke into the communicator. We are humans. We did not come to conquer, we came to explore. But make no mistake, we will protect ourselves and those who cannot protect themselves. The galaxy underestimated humans for too long. That ends today. The response was silence at first, then cautious acknowledgement. Humans had made an impression. They were no longer passive participants in galactic events, they were leaders by action and example. As they continued, the alien starship guided them toward a system rich with ancient technology. Entire planets were covered with ruins, forgotten cities, and machines waiting to be understood. Ilara's heart raced. Humans had the chance to rebuild, to learn, and to advance faster than any species before them. She turned to Nyx. We need to record everything. Map every system, every signal, every structure. Humans are the first to awaken this starship, and maybe the first to truly understand the galaxy's secrets. Nyx nodded. All data will be cataloged. Probability of human advancement, unprecedented. Ilara smiled. The galaxy would not recognize humanity tomorrow, next month, or even next century. Not immediately. But history would remember this moment. The story of one human pilot pressing a single button, awakening a starship dormant for 100,000 years, and changing the course of the galaxy would echo through the stars for millennia. Days turned into weeks as Ilara and the alien starship explored new worlds. They discovered planets rich with resources, others teeming with strange, intelligent life, and some entirely untouched. Humanity's understanding of physics, engineering, and energy manipulation began to expand at an exponential rate. Every discovery was a building block for a future no one had imagined. One night, as Ilara floated in the central hall of the alien starship, she stared out at the stars stretching endlessly before them. She thought of the small, fragile species she had come from, humans, often underestimated, often dismissed. Yet now, humans were the spark that awakened a power beyond comprehension. Nyx, she said softly, do you think they'll ever trust us fully? Nyx's holographic form shimmered. Trust is built through action. You have already demonstrated courage, creativity, and control of the unknown. Other civilizations may never fully trust humans, but they will respect us, or fear us." Ilara laughed softly. Humans had never shied away from fear. It was part of their nature to face the impossible, to rise against overwhelming odds, and to survive where others failed. She glanced at the alien starship's glowing glyphs. It was alive, aware, and connected to her and humanity in ways no other species could understand. They were partners now, in a universe full of challenges and wonders. Suddenly, a new signal appeared on the console. Unlike the others, this one was not hostile. It emanated from deep within the alien starship itself, a message encoded in its systems. Ilara approached the console. As she deciphered the glyphs, her eyes widened. "Humans, the galaxy is ready for you. Protect, learn, lead." Her breath caught. This was more than guidance. This was recognition. Humanity, fragile and small in the eyes of the galaxy, had earned its place among the stars. Ilara turned to the crew. "This is just the beginning. The galaxy has waited for humans for thousands of years. We have the knowledge, the power, and the courage. It's time to show them what humans can do." As the alien starship began to chart a new course deeper into uncharted space, Ilara felt a surge of pride. Humans were no longer explorers. They were pioneers, leaders, and guardians of ancient knowledge. They had awakened a starship dormant for 100,000 years, faced unknown fleets, and survived trials no other species could endure. The galaxy would remember this. History would remember the courage, ingenuity, and instinct of humans. And somewhere in the hum of the alien ship, a new pulse of light traveled through the void, spreading the story of one species that refused to be underestimated. Ilara smiled as she gazed out at the stars. Humanity had stepped into the light of destiny, and nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same again. The ship pulsed again, a deep, steady rhythm like a heartbeat. It was alive, and it had chosen humans as its partners. Together, they would explore, protect, and lead the galaxy into a new age, a legacy that would last for millennia. And somewhere in the endless void, other civilizations began to whisper the name of humanity with awe. Humans were no longer just small, fragile creatures. They were the spark of the galaxy, and the stars themselves would remember them forever. Ilara pressed her hand against the glowing console. "We're ready," she said. "Let's go." The alien starship pulsed one final time, enveloping the humans in light and energy as it surged forward into the unknown. Humanity had awakened a legend, and the galaxy had been forever changed.